Hello, let's see if Google Search AI Mode can help with programming for KDE. You can get to the LLM functionality in Google in three ways. Either you search, and then maybe at the start of the list of the results, there's this AI overview. Then there's a tab AI Mode. And the third way is to actually use a dedicated URL, which is google.com/AI. Okay, so a bit of an overview of this LLM. Google Search AI Mode is a online LLM of type chat, so it doesn't really interface with your hard disk, cannot read files on your hard disk. It's not something equivalent to Claude Code, but it's actually a chat interface. Still, it can help a ton. For instance, if you have a method, you can just copy paste the content of that method and ask for help, or you can paste entire contents of source code files. And it has a very large database of knowledge. It knows very niche information about niche KDE projects in our case, and technologies and the various KDE frameworks, various issues and gotchas in the Qt framework, etc. So its database is really large. It's gratis to use, and it's available in most of the countries where you have access to Google. So let's first see if the database is large enough to know about Coco, which is one of the many graphical user interface image viewers from the KDE community. When I asked first, it didn't say anything about Coco. So KOKO, this is what it said. It says there's just one primary dedicated GUI image viewer, which is correct because of the word primary. But in fact, the correct result, the correct answer would be how many GUI image viewers are developed by the KDE community. There's at least, I don't know, 3. The Qt widgets one, the Kirigami one, and probably also from the Maui community. But in AI mode, if I search, it also does say about Coco. So let's say that we want to start programming for the KDE community, and we want to program specially for this application KOKO. Let's see what this URL points us to. It points us to userbase, which is one of the 3 wikis that the KDE community has. I'm not even sure where it pointed us. So it totally did not point to the most official homepage of the application, which is apps.kde.org/coco. The actual homepage of a KDE application is either apps.kde.org/coco, or there's a more dedicated homepage to the application, which usually you can see in here in the right side of the page in apps.kde.org. Doesn't say anything about a dedicated website. And then the second most important homepage for the app, for the KDE app, in this case for Coco, would be its canonical Git repository, which is this one in invent.kde.org/graphics/Coco, so the GitLab on-premise installation inside the KDE community. Because in here you have the readme.md top-level file, which probably will give you the rest of the details that you need to know about this application. We actually want to develop for this application. The very first thing that we want to do is actually to build from Git master branch this software and to actually run it. So let's see if Google Search AI mode knows about KDE-builder. So I asked them on a Ubuntu 2604 Linux computer, how can I build Coco, the KDE GUI image viewer app from source code from the Git master branch. Really curious about the result. Okay, and it says KDE builder, which is correct. I'm not sure what these things are. Install build tools and system dependencies. Oh, so it says that option 1 is on my Linux operating system, I should install all of the dev packages for KDE framework, Qt, etc. and use cmake to build just Coco, or I have KDE-builder. Okay. Git clone, cd, and then cmake. Yeah. In fact, in my 4 years developing for the Linux community, I have never ever gone this path. I have never git cloned any Git repository. I have never run command lines like this. I'm not even sure. This thing will not even work because why? I'm not sure this thing will work because it uses QML and maybe we'll need to edit some environment variables such that the executable itself, Coco, can find other files from the Coco project which are not SO files. So I'm not sure this answer is complete, but it looks legit. Method 2, the official KDE builder way, best for contributors. Why? Okay, says apt install KDE builder. Hopefully KDE builder is not available in the Ubuntu repositories. It would be very not okay to do that because KDE builder has a ton of Git commits maybe almost daily. And the Ubuntu deb packages get updated only, I don't know, 3 times per 6 months or something. There's npx KDE builder, very, very not okay. Hopefully it's also not available in npm KDE-builder. It's a Python Git repository from the KDE community. Okay, so let's say I already have KDE builder installed. Which I do. So the instructions on how to install KDE builder were not okay. Probably you can continue asking the Google Search AI mode, how can I install KDE builder, and bit by bit it will take you to the correct entry point in the KDE web pages where it says how you can install KDE builder. Okay, at this point I'm going to start a console because I actually have KDE builder, the build framework installed. Okay, so it says I should do KDE builder Coco. Let's see if copy paste works. It adds a new line, which is a bug. So I'm not sure where this bug is. When I copied the text, it copied KDE-builder space Coco and then the trailing new line, which might be a problem when you paste on a terminal that doesn't prevent you to that automatically runs command lines if you paste a new line character. It would have run this command line automatically without me pressing enter and confirming. Okay, so the instructions to build are okay. The instructions to run are okay. This might be a missing dependency troubleshooter thing, but it's actually part of the initial installation of KDE builder. refresh build. This is a very not okay command line because I'm not sure exactly what this thing does, but previously it used to rebuild from scratch all of these 45 Git repositories, which is going to take, I know, half an hour or something. So I would never do such a thing. I would do kd-builder space -- no -include -dependencies, and then maybe -- refresh -build. Coco. Okay, we'll wait for the kd-builder to finish. While that's building, let's see if it knows about the entry point web page that takes us to the instructions on how to set up kd-builder. So it goes to a website, which is the online documentation of kd-builder. That's not okay. Again, from kd-builder, so nothing from kde.org directly, or from the wiki pages from the KDE community, but it goes towards the product manual of kd-builder. Yeah, and this should have been the answer to my question. Where is the KDE web page with the entry point? How can I install? Yeah, maybe it's not clear what an entry point is. So an entry point, in my opinion, is the URL that's very easy to get to, that teaches you how to do very important things in the KDE community, how to set up kd-builder, how to set up kd-builder with an ID such as Qt Creator, how to use GDB specifically for KDE development, how to develop on the Windows operating system KDE applications, etc. So there's, 20 very, very important URLs that are entry points into the KDE community that are way more important than other similarly looking web pages. So I'm trying to build Coco, the graphical user interface image viewer app that uses Kirigami QML from the KDE community, using kd-builder with the command line kd-builder space Coco, and that will build 45 Git repositories, fails at Git repository 43, and says that in this file there's details about the error. The error is CMake-configure step for K-Quick Image Editor. Let's open the file and let's feed the thing to Google Search AI mode. We can even give some context. KDE-builder Coco fails, and then we can just paste the error. Let's actually provide also the full name, the full path of the file, not just the content of the file. Maybe it's important. Okay, so the error I can fix without using an LLM, but let's see if the LLM finds the issue. So the issue is CMake-configure step failed because a required dependency, where does it say required? A package requested. So the package is named HWY. There's a find HWI.cmake file. So the only thing that we actually have is this thing, HWI. And how we usually fix them is by installing the dev package from my Linux operating system. So that would be apt search HWI. I'm not sure of the capitalization of the dev package name. So lib HWI minus dev. Let's see what Google search says. So there's a package, kquick image editor, correct. Dependency of Coco, correct. So two different KD Git repositories. There's a CMake issue, could not find. Development headers means dev packages in Ubuntu and Debian. And that I should run this command, and there is the answer from Google Search AI mode is correct. Okay, what then? Yeah, this command line is way wrong. The correct command line is kde-builder, the name of the package. And then there's the resume command line parameter. Or you just rerun kd-builder space coco. Because it's a CMake configure issue, just rerunning the command is enough. You don't need to delete tilde/kd/build direct or your tilde/kd/usr direct or your do refresh build or anything else. It's a CMake configure issue. A package was not found. Running it again, running the kde-builder coco, so running the CMake configure step for kquick image editor again, we'll just find the package and that's it. So the minus resume command line parameter of kde-builder will see that previously kde-builder tried to build 45 Git repositories and failed with the last three ones, so 43rd, 44th, and 45th. That's why it says that 3 modules need to be built and starts with kquick image editor. The configure CMake configure step has finished, and then it built and installed in tilde/kd/usr. Let's ask it if Coco uses Kirigami. Relies heavily, yeah. I'm not sure why LLMs use emphasis like this. It should say Coco does use KD Kirigami framework. It uses the correct capitalization. It remembered my session, so it knows that I'm on Kubuntu 2604. That's why it says -dev packages. Let's see if it remembered the context deeply. So the correct question here would be, I have built using kde-builder Coco. Now how can I run it using kde-builder? But the kd-builder bits should be part of the session of my previous questions that I have asked during this chat session. And it does what it should. Let's see if the app actually runs correctly. Yes, it does. Let's see how this application looks like and works. So it's probably a QML application because there's no main menu, main toolbar, which would mean KXML GUI, which would probably mean Qt widgets. Okay. There's an image viewer with alpha transparency, which I'm not sure I would expect. This checkerboard thing. Okay, there's navigation, as in most Kirigami applications. This may be different type of breadcrumb. There's no context menus here. Let's see where the help about box is. About photos. And again, Kirigami help about dialog. Not about overlay, so it's not floating on whatever. It's this thing is not kind of like an always on-screen display on top of the entire application, but it's actually a dedicated window. Let's see if this LLM knows about kdub gamma ray. The app Coco is running. How can I inspect the running application live? Says gamma ray, says how I can install it, which is correct, and maybe also apt update before installing. Apt install -y gamma ray. It uses this -y because it's all of the Docker files doing it. When you propose to an actual human user to install to run apt install command lines, you should not suggest that they use the -y command line parameter. It's just dangerous. Okay, gamma ray is already installed. Let's see next what we should do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Prefix it with gamma ray. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what this thing is. So the correct invocation is just gamma ray. That's it. And then it should find Coco running, which it is. And I'm just going to attach to it. And it managed to successfully work. So this application kdub gamma ray is hooked inside running live Qt applications such as Coco. It's poking at very internal Qt object counters and states and Qt style signals and slots. So the application gamma ray might crash like a ton, but still, if you're using it very carefully, you can do your job. So let's see what we're presented here. There's a list of objects. There's a list of widgets. There's no widgets, not Qt widgets. I know, windows, main menus, etc. So we should go to the quick scenes tab. Let's see if the LLM knows about this thing. Okay, so says gamma ray will open alongside Coco, correct. Inspect Kirigami and QML structures. Left-hand sidebar, utilize the specific views. Quick item inspector. There's no such thing. It's called Qt scenes. We cannot actually give feedback to the LLM such that the LLM improves. We cannot tell it, hey, it's not called quick item inspector, it's actually called quick scenes, because one of the most fundamental features in a LLM chat is that all of the sessions should be very isolated from each other, and the model should be very isolated from the end users. Quick item inspector. What is that? Maybe this thing. Big element. Yeah, it kind of knows some things, but not really what it should do. Let's see. I am inside gamma ray. Which tab on the left part should I select? Let's give it options. So inside Gamma Ray, I didn't tell it that I have managed to open the Coco application inside Gamma Ray successfully, so that's not something you should do. You should provide as long as and as detailed as possible questions to an LLM chat. You should give the chat all of the possible context because that's what it has. There's complete isolation between different chat sessions. There's just one session and it cannot guess things. It cannot take screenshots of your computer. It cannot look through the list of processes running on your computer, etc. Select quick scenes, correct. Okay, so in Gamma Ray, the first thing is you connect to an application, which we did. The second step is to go to widgets. Maybe there's a Qt widget, not just QML things. There's none. Next up, we go to quick scenes. Then you look at the list of top level items or windows or what these things are. In this combo box, there's just one possibility, which is called main root. And we have the entire window available for us to inspect. We can inspect it in graphical user interface mode like this. For instance, we can select the breadcrumb. Let's look at this thing. So it's a repeater. A navigator root button. A navigator path button. And they're paired with these icons. So an QML object of type icon with an uppercase I. Okay, let's see where this icon is defined. How do we do that? So there's a file navigator component.qml where where the QML item of type icon is kirigami.icon is being instantiated, where the object is being created. And it's probably from resources, so not from the disk. How do we go back? Okay, how can we... It's strange that it's an icon, not a character, not a greater than character. Yeah, because different themes might use different symbols or the path breadcrumb separator. Okay, there's a thumbnail item type. Yeah, there's plenty of things that you can find out by inspecting using Gamma Ray. You can find out names of QML types, names of QML files, content of QML files. You can look at the various properties. You can write some of these properties, so you can do live changes. You can change, I know, height or width of this icon, for instance. I'm not sure if it's possible, but let's try it. So let's make this 500. Yeah, and it didn't do what I wanted, but it actually changed the height of the QML item, didn't change the height of the pixels of the image. Okay, so that all worked. Let's try to fix some build issue, so some C++ or other type of compiler warnings. So I said I want to use kde-builder again, build just Coco, not the other dependencies. And I want verbose output. I know the command line by heart, but let's see if this LLM does know the command line. So kd-builder no include dependencies correct, refresh build correct, and I'm not sure what this thing does. So I actually wanted the --debug command line parameter. Oh, T. Cool. Hit and miss. So up until here, the command is correct. And I also want --debug, which is the most verbose command line output possible from kd-builder. And now the compilation step is running. So 242 C++ translation units and other files to compile. Let's see if we get a C++ compiler warning, for instance. So building everything finished correctly. And we indeed identified one compiler warning for file num manager, file menu manager.cpp. Okay. We can just copy paste this error and feed it to the LLM, but then also the LLM says that we should have written the standard output and standard error of the kde-builder command to a plain text file. So let's see if that works. Let's see if this invocation, which is not a Bashism, works. And with T also. So I'm going to run the exact same command, but this time with this thing, which is redirect standard error towards standard output, and then send everything to T, and then T will write to a file tilde/a.txt. This way we both see the full output on the console, on the terminal, but also the output will be put automatically inside this file tilde/a.txt. Let's see if everything worked correctly. And it did, and the error is somewhere in here. So I can see the error even in the minimap in the scroll bar, because it's of a different pattern. So the pattern is current index out of count and then very short text, whereas in here it's a different pattern for the lines. Okay, let's see if the LLM knows about what kde-builder did on my disk. Where are the various directories? So this is the incantation. I have built Coco using kde-builder. Did kde-builder git clone the kd-coco git repository on my disk? Into which directory? tilde/kd/src/coco, correct. Let's open that thing in Visual Studio Code. How do we do that? Correct. Next up, we need to fix the error. So it says it's a build warning, not a build error. We're not using -w uppercase and then error. At this point, we can see that we should have said something like, here's the error, the source code of which files do you need to look into to prepare a fix for this error, because either this LLM has in its huge database the actual content of the file menu manager.cpp file, which it probably has, or we should have provided the actual content of file menu manager.cpp as part of the question. So first ask which files do you want, which probably would have said that it needs the content of this file, and then say, here's the content of the file, here is the error, fix the error. So it knows line 468, knows there's the connect, knows there's the KIO copy job. Let's actually see if the lines in that file, in this file menu manager, have changed between the cutoff moment in time where the LLM's database was snapshotted versus the current moment in time. So let's open this file. How do we do that? kdesc cook-src file menu manager, this guy, and says line 468, Control G, 468. Okay, so at this line 468 continues to be a connect job. I would be curious at this point to see when this file changed, and it says that this file has changed 1 week ago. So I would probably do it something like git k to look at the git history and then this thing. So this entire file was created just 4 months ago. So not only the LLM's database, Google search, AI mode is extremely wide, knows about a ton of things, but also it's extremely fresh. I'm not even sure if it has a cutoff date. Maybe it was refreshed last time yesterday for the information that we actually need. So it might be extremely fresh with the database. Okay, so this is probably the line that we're interested in, and this has changed very few days ago. 468. One month ago. Where are you? 1 week ago. Jan Miksha. There's just one commit, and the previous commit to this file actually has changed this line. At this point, I'm really interested to see if it's the exact same line in the Git master branch. Versus what's in the database of the LLM. Okay, so with this, we determined that the database of the LLM is extremely fresh. It's newer than 3 days ago, 7 days ago. Bravo. Okay, so it says that we should replace this line with this other line. Let's actually compare them side by side. So it says that I should use maybe unused in 1,000,000 places. Okay, this is because to is being used, but from is not being used, and mtime is not being used, and job is not being used. I'm not sure if there's a precedent for this thing, but maybe there is. Let's see. So this is a file, a function signature, not a an actual lambda. I'm extremely curious if this is the way to go, to put a ton of maybe unused in all of your lambdas. This issue probably affects a ton of KD Git repositories if that's the case. Okay, files to include just CPP files. So I see it in function declarations in 1,000,000 places, but I'm not sure I see it in lambdas. Yeah, let's just apply the change and see maybe the build warning has been fixed. How do we do that? Inside Coco, let's apply this change. So can we just copy paste the thing? How do we go back? Not like this. It was the line 468. Yeah, the experience is a bit more cumbersome. You need to be Cloud Code. You need to copy paste files, file contents, do diffs and stuff like that. Let's look at the changes. So there's a trailing curly bracket, which we kept. Seems okay. Let's do actual git commit. We should have the build warning in here. And all of them are W unused parameter. Build warnings of type like this. Okay, I need to run this first part that formats. Where in here. Control Shift V. Okay, rescan. And then we're going to try to rebuild with the previous command line. So kde-builder, no include dependencies, refresh, build, debug, coco, redirect everything to tilde/a.txt. The build has finished. View difference, wow. It doesn't work that easily, right? So we should search for W unused parameter in a.txt. Not sure what happened there. It's still here. So what did I do wrong? Did I not pass the command line parameter minus minus no src? Yes, I did not create a git branch, and I also didn't use minus minus no minus src parameter to kde-builder. So kde-builder did actually git operations. So it did git fetch, and then I don't know, git stash, git rebase hard or something, git reset hard, something like that. It destroyed my changes with my git commit because there was no other git ref pointing to my new git commit. So I need to redo my git commit. How do we do that? Back to where I was. Four, six, eight. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that was expected because I don't trip on this error. But I was just not paying attention. Okay, so copy the line 468, Shift and Control V. Delete the extra trailing new line, Control S. Git GUI. And redo everything. Okay, so when I press commit, it will want to run me to run git clang format again. Under here. A ton of maybe unused. I'll do the commit, and this time I'll actually create the git master branch, pointing to my new git commit such that it doesn't become git garbage collected. Create new branch. Maybe unused. And then for extra safety points, I'm going to use no src command line parameter. Where is it? So kde-builder don't do any git operations. Just look at one git repository, no include dependencies, refresh, build, rebuild, don't incrementally build, debug verbose output from kde-builder from all of its subprocesses, almost all of them. And then write everything to ~a.txt. Let's look at the results. Reload and search for what we had before. Rescan. Visualize our branch history. It was W unused parameter. And the issue has been fixed. If I think a bit about it, it's actually a very valid git commit and GitLab merge request that I should actually do. So I have git pushed the commit using this button remote and then push, or there's this button push. And now using the GitLab flow, I should create the merge request. GitLab sees my Git branch towards, so I have one Git branch in the canonical Git repository and GitLab project of this application, invent.org/graphics/coco. My work branch is named like this, and I'm going to create a merge request from my work branch towards the master branch. Let's see how that works. Correct source branch, correct destination branch, correct title, delete source branch, don't squash, just one git commit, and then it does what it should do, create merge request. And that's it. Let's see if the LLM knows how to do a static analysis over an entire file. So I'm going to provide both the file name and the file content. It already knows the correct content of this file. Let's see if it actually managed to paste the entire file, or if it truncates. Yeah, so probably there's a limitation to the number of characters that you can have in a question for this LLM. And it immediately complains that the file was truncated. In here where it says chunk cuts off here. So this is totally not okay. Missing explicit bool inside lambda captures. Yeah, it's like any static analyzer. You need to grok, learn, understand an entire category of issues, of warnings found. Study at least, I don't know, 30 minutes each type of issue, and then only decide this makes sense to be improved upstream in the Git repository, or maybe it's just not going to be done. It doesn't actually provide anything extra. It just adds extra words maybe to the Git repository. Or if it's actually a fix that's mandatory, mandated by future versions of the compiler or of the Qt framework. Or so you need to see is this really an issue that I want to fix? And then maybe apply this type of fix to more than this file and more than this KD Git repository. And a ton of the things that it finds or the static analyzers find are things that are really new to me. Like this thing, missing explicit bool inside lambda captures. I have zero exposure to these things, to C++20, to C++ lambdas. I'm a senior C++ developer, but I have never used lambdas. Mixing to Latin 1 with QImageReader. QList of QByte array and QString. Yeah, so at least 30 minutes you need to invest into each of these issues if they're totally different. If it's the same issue in 30 places in the same file, then yeah, it's going to be a bit faster. Grammar issues. Okay, so in here it wants to rewrite an entire comment sentence, which I usually don't do. Rewriting comments is easy. I usually just write, I might fix inside comments issues where other human languages than English American is being used and replace that word with the English US version. Or, I don't know, very, very small changes to the entire comment, not rewriting an entire line just for making it a bit easier to read for who. Yeah, I usually prefer comments to be sentences, so to start with an uppercase letter and end with a dot. But if I apply this, my personal preference to all of the KD Git repositories, to all of the source code files in there, there's going to be millions of merge requests. Nobody wants sweeping changes like this. You improve the source code, but with very small targeted git commits, just change one file if preferable, if possible, one git commit, one merge request. And for things that actually advance a bit the Git repository more than a missing final dot in a comment. But this one, maybe I can understand in less than 30 minutes. So it says that it's using, I'm not sure what, maybe it was a pass by ref previously with a more complex type, but now it's a bool. So there's actually no need to make this thing a const. Let's actually see if that's the case. Enabled. Yeah, I would remove the const and do a git commit and merge request. So takeaway, it knows how to statically analyze a million of things, C++ errors, Qt errors, C++ warnings, Qt warnings, and of course the English language. And for the files that this LLM knows by heart, you actually should not paste the content because the content might get truncated, as in this case. So if we say find issues in the file and then I know I paste the full path to the file, it knows that it should use file menu manager from its database, not from my disk. Let's see what's actually happening if we do that. You have in your memory Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to explain. Forget this session. Don't look at the content of the file as I presented it into this session because that's truncated. Ignore what I wrote in the previous session, question in my chat. If it provides the exact same results, and it does, it's using at the, it's probably using the my previous question. Yeah, so I should create a new chat instance, a new tab in my web browser, navigate to google.com/AI, and then paste the longer question there. Okay, so it might truncate your chat question if it's too long, the online LLM Google Search AI mode. This is how my Git history looks right now. So there's this Git commit, which is pointed to by the remote origin master remote. And then from here, I have one Git commit, one local branch, one remote branch, and one merge request. And then from remote origin master, there's just one Git commit where I do replacing const bool with just bool. I'm going to create a second Git branch. I'm going to make it active. Check out this branch. Rescan to make sure the current branch is different, and then push. And then I'm going to create a GitLab merge request as instructed here. Create merge request. Title of merge request correct. Delete, don't squash, one commit, changes, just this. Yeah, I should do a kdesc-build run, build and then run to make sure everything builds correctly first. So let's do just that. So it has finished building. Let's see if it has finished building successfully. This is the install step. This is where the compiling and linking finishes. Everything seems successful, says exit status 0. We have again the build warning because I do just one git commit per git branch per git merge request. So the two GitLab merge requests are totally not related. Don't share the same git commits. And let's run it once, and then that should be it. How do we run this thing? kde-builder run Coco. It's in here. Okay. So let's create the merge request. When you build using kde-builder, do a thorough build like I did with no SRC, no include dependencies, refresh build. Look at the build output, run the application, click a ton inside the application if it's a graphical user interface application, but then for bonus points, you should also run the test suite of the application, so of Coco. And you do that either using kde-builder, there's a parameter to run tests, there's CMake tests, and then there's Qt tests. That's running the test suite, the test battery should be done more often, at least by me. Let's find a random file in here and see if the LLM can find issues inside the file if we just provide a full URL to one of those files. How do we find one file? One file that hasn't been changed in a number of years. How do we do that? Last update. We can sort. A longer file. How do we find a file that's longer? This guy, exiv extractor. So we're going to provide a full path and say find issues in here. And we're going to use a new session of the LLM. So let's see. So find issues in file, and I just provide a full path to the file. It might complain that it doesn't know how to navigate to websites, so it's not Cloud Code or similar. But it might also just say, yeah, I have source code of this file somewhere in my database. Maybe not for this exact full path, full URL, but maybe for a similar URL, and maybe it's the exact same file. So it might say something, I have something in my database, maybe it's not exactly what you think, but if I'm going to do linting, C++, static analysis, etc. on what I have in my database, this would be the results. Thinking a little longer. Okay, so I do not have real-time internet browsing capabilities. Perfect. I cannot view or dynamically analyze. Oh, so it's just inventing something. Yeah, if it doesn't say file numbers, file line numbers, if it doesn't say contents of the text of the file that you should replace, then yeah, indeed, it tries not to look at the file, although it knows it. It has seen the file. We have seen previously that it knows the file, but right now it is being shy to look at its existing database. So I'm going to ask it directly if it knows the content of the file. Memorized. We just proved that you have a ton of source code text from this Git repository actually memorized inside your database. Maybe this is an exception. You don't have the content of this file, but you have the content of this file. Let's see next if it knows about the Qt Creator integrated development environment, how we can open the source code of the Cocoa project. Again, it's a Git clone. It was built using kde-builder. Some semi-configured decisions have been taken automatically by kde-builder, and Qt Creator can be told how to open a kde-builder project, and even the procedure is really short, in my opinion. But the advantages are multiple. You will be able to navigate source code. You can build straight from the IDE. You can click on build errors, build warnings, and it will navigate correctly. You can switch between C++ and .h files. You can use the debugger, place breakpoints, inspect variables at runtime, etc. So navigate to in here, not okay. Set build directory, not okay. The environment variables, yeah. Rel with deb-info. Fuck. Set a breakpoint. Start debugging. Yeah, it didn't find my page, right? Or the entry point in the KD community on how to set up Qt Creator with a project that was built using kde-builder. But I know by heart, so I'm going to do it my way, the shorter way. So we don't open the source code. There's no need for that because Qt Creator has this feature implemented where if you open a special file from the build directory, then that will populate correctly, will open correctly the Git repository, will set the build directory, set the build configuration name, build CMake configuration options, environment variables, etc. So that's done by using this feature file, open project, and then we navigate to the KD, not src directory, but build directory. And in here, Coco and CMake cache file, .txt. Okay, let's see the options here. We need to uncheck whatever is not desktop. So this thing and configure project. Okay, and from here, let's see if we can build this button, build project, compile output, nothing to do. It was already built by kde-builder. Let's see if we can set the which CMake target to run, which is Coco, the graphical user interface application. The rest are tests, and is selected correctly, and we can run it. And we can't because we did not set the correct environment variables. Let me fix that. So it's a variation of this thing. Maybe even this thing just works. But I'm going to do what I always do just to be safe. My wiki page and mariusp.github.io, the last link in here, and then Qt Creator, and then this is a QML application. If it were just a simpler Qt widgets application, this would be it. Just open Qt Creator and load the CMake cache.txt file, and that's it. But because it's a QML application, it also needs additional environment variables set. So probably this one being the most important. So we're going to do these steps. So this, but for Coco, not kcalc, but Coco. And then I'm going to source the thing. Let's see that the environment variables that are listed here are also listed here. So path, xdg data dirs, xdg config dirs, qt plugin path, qml to import, qt quick control man path. All of these did not change in the last year. And then the output, which starts here, we should put in a file named like this. How do we do that? Copy, save as, Control V, enter. And copy this thing to the clipboard and insert it into Qt Creator. So Qt Creator left sidebar projects. Under the bold text build and run, this guy. Run settings. This guy. Run configuration kcalc, whatever Coco, correct. So the texts and the tabs have changed a bit. There were just 2 tabs, now there are 3. And the layout in this part has changed in recent versions of Qt Creator, so I should update this part of the tutorial. So run settings. Okay. Run configuration. Where is that? This thing. Environment group box. This thing use build environment, expand details, paste in here. So to the right of the append path button, there's a large multi-line edit box. I paste, and I also have this checkbox to show in application output when running. And this should be it. Run. And now it runs correctly. And we can also debug correctly. We can debug in 2 ways. Either we set a breakpoint and then we start the debugger, or there's this entry point, this thing. Qt Creator main menu, debug, start and break on main. F10, this part. So that knows where the entry point main function is exported by the executable Coco. So tilde slash kd/usr/bin/coco is an executable written in C++, has a standard entry point named main, and the debugger has stopped there. So we can just use the debugger in here. Or we can put a breakpoint wherever we want and see when the execution lands there. How do we do that? In the File Menu Manager, in the constructor. Stop the debugger. Just start the debugger because now we have a breakpoint. And it stopped at the correct place, which is the constructor of the File Menu Manager. So that's the way you debug C++ source code. That's the way I do it, using Qt Creator, which in the background uses GDB, the default standard GNU debugger for Linux. I'm using the GNU C++ compiler collection, GCC, G++. Ubuntu 26.04 is the operating system. I can step into, I can step out. I can see the values of local variables and their type, or the variables that are being shown when the debugger is paused in Qt Creator. I can see their values, and if they're standard Qt types, such as QString and its related types, I can also see the actual values because this is an ID created by the Qt framework people themselves. So they have support for inspecting Qt containers, Q variants, etc. So it's a Q variant of type QURL. Let's see if the LLM knows the QML language, which I totally don't know well enough. I do know C++, but my knowledge of Qt framework and QML is pretty limited. Let's see how far we get. Let's do something complicated. So the main toolbar of the application doesn't use Qt widgets, doesn't use KXML GUI. I don't know how to edit it. Right-clicking doesn't really do anything. So I want to add in here at the third position a go up action. Let's see how possible is that. So I want to edit the Coco source code to add in the main toolbar a button go up that navigates to the parent directory. So there's a main page.qml, which I guess there isn't. Main.qml. There's a sidebar, navigation actions. Let me paste it. How do we copy the path of the file? And it's too long. Wow. So it says some interesting keywords, says kirigami action, says main.qml, gallery folder model .path sounds legit. Yeah, that's probably not a good request because maybe these things are not actually back forward in the directory, but instead back forward in the pages inside a Kirigami app. So if I go back, it navigates directories, but then for QML, Kirigami, pages, page stack, maybe there's no concept of going up one place. Maybe there's no hierarchy. Maybe I should add a button to navigate inside the breadcrumb, inside when in directory view. So only when the forward button is shown. So the forward button navigates directories, but the back button might navigate Kirigami pages. So that's very, I'm not sure if it's okay. So this is definitely navigate back Kirigami thing, whereas this thing is also has a different tooltip, just back, not navigate back, and moves just in directories. I have searched for the forward button because that seems to only exist when we navigate in directories, not in Kirigami things. So in here, when we do Kirigami navigation, there's just a back button. There's also this forward button in the files in this directory when you view each file one by one. And I should choose between a gallery page and a navigator component. At this point in time, I can see tool button forward. And for the gallery, there's this function to navigate forward. But there's no button to navigate forward. Okay, so the forward button is defined just in navigator component.qml, but still we can see if that's the case or not using the inspector.desk array. Okay, so let's look at this button, inspect the forward button. It's named the forward button. Let's see if that's the case. So indeed, forward button with this capitalization, lowercase f, search by it, full word, and it appears in just one place and with this capitalization. So using gamma ray to inspect using this tool, quick scenes, and then this button, pick element, choose the element that you want, in this case the forward button, and you have the name of the object, in this case forward button, which is an ID in a QML file. And we also have access to the creation, which is line 65 in navigator component QML. We can also see the name of the file, navigator component QML. We can see the line 65. And then also, I'm not sure what the declaration is, the place where it's imported probably. It's a tool button. It's declared inside controls in QQC2. Okay, so we need something similar to the forward. Let's start by adding a button that's identical to the forward button just a second time. So we want type controls.tool button. We want ID up button. Let's say up one directory. And then there's go next symbolic. I don't know the name of the icons. We can inspect the icons with this icon inspector and we'll see the exact names. Maybe it's just up. I don't know. And then text up one directory. And then we keep the rest of the source code. So we should see an extra button in the main toolbar. Let's build. Hopefully we can do an incremental build. We'll see if that's the case. So that's without refresh build. And unfortunately, T doesn't really work because it doesn't show me in real time the output from the CMake build step. So the actual compiling and linking. kde-builder no src no include dependencies debug Coco. Just 9 C++ translation units to build and link. And we can run the app. And there's an extra button in here. Okay, and the button up has the correct tooltip and does exactly what forward does. Okay, at this point I should probably do a git commit. Let's see where I'm at. I'm on the wrong branch. I should have been on the master branch. So let's copy somehow the changes. We're in here. Visualize all branch history. Check out the master, reset in here hard. Let's see if that works. And apply the change again. Where was it? Control V. Okay, so the correct local master branch, git master branch, the correct changes. Okay, where navigator component. Okay, and then what should this button actually do? Yeah, the source code of the place where we navigate forward and backward is the file gallery page.qml, and this thing only navigates in Kirigami page histories. Doesn't actually do directories directly in the sense of file system directory. Yeah, at this point, navigating directories is an orthogonal thing. It is not about Kirigami pages and page tag and page history. It's about the file system and KIO and the various KIO protocols. I do think that it makes sense to be able to go one directory. If you present directories, it always seems to me that something is missing when you present to me a directory, maybe with a breadcrumb, or I can navigate inside one directory, but then I cannot go up one directory. So in my opinion, that should be presented either as a new item in this icon view, in this list view, as, I don't know, ... or go to parent directory or something, or provide very visible a button to go up. Yeah, there's all sorts of complications. What happens if you go up from here, you're inside tilde/pictures/screenshots, it should go to pictures, right? But if you navigate from here to home, where should it go? To tilde, to home. But what if you navigate one directory up from here? Should we always display the home directory and the slash to regular users? So the root directory of a Linux operating system, should it be hidden from regular users that are not root, are not elevatable, are not part of the sudoers list, are not elevatable as the user root? So this is some of the ways that you can use the online chat LLM Google Search AI mode for programming for KDE. Again, it has a large database. It even knew about Coco. It even knew some source code lines from the Coco Git repository. It knows about kde-builder. It can help with linting source code of a variety of types. It knows how to do English spell checking, English grammar improvement suggestions. It can statically analyze C++, QML, Qt source code. It can fix C++ compiler warnings and errors. It knows how to fix kde-builder CMake-configure errors. It's gratis, it's free, it's fast. It's a good resource to have in your toolset. It's a tool. Use it if you want it, don't use it if you don't want it, but it's there. And it's free, and it's always at your disposal. You have a hammer, you can use it if you want. If not, you can use a, I don't know, sledgehammer or something better. Thank you.